Sunshine's Corner, being brought to you by Quint and Richie Studer.
And good morning, everybody, and welcome to Sunshine's Corner, where conversation creates change. And we are going to shine a light on people, the issues, and the opportunities that matter to our community. And now today we're having a conversation with someone who's bringing that youthfulness, that education, and a fresh perspective into the political conversation. I say that because his name is Johnny Austin Thompson. And I'll tell you what, he's a candidate for State House District 2. And he is being recognized as one of the youngest candidates in the election cycle. Don't we like that? That's that young, fresh thinking. Now, Johnny is also a Harvard graduate. Yay! And today, we're going beyond the title and beyond the campaign. We want to get to know the person behind the candidate. What inspires him to step into to public service? That's a difficult job. What does he believe young people can bring into government? And perhaps most importantly, what does he believe that Santa Rosa County needs right about now? But our conversation doesn't stop right there with the candidate. Whether you are interested in upcoming events or voter outreach candidate appearances, educational activities, or simply learning more about the political process, there are so many opportunities for you to get involved, because democracy isn't just about showing up on election day. It's about being informed, it's about participating, and it's about making your voice count. And I tell you, this young man, so stay with us. We're going to talk about his leadership values, the future of Santa Rosa County, civic engagement, and how you can absolutely get involved. Johnny Austin Thompson is here on Sunshine's Corner. So let's shine the bright light on this conversation. Here you go with that big smile. Good morning, Johnny.
Good morning, Sunshine. Thank you for having me. I'm a massive fan of the show, and I really am glad to be here to get to talk to you a little bit about the campaign.
I mean, well, thank you. And you know, when I talked about in my introduction, I had a lot to say because of the fact that I think, and this is me personally, I think it's time to pass the torch to the younger generation, the younger minds, to get a fresh look on things that can be better for us in this country. And I think that with you taking that opportunity, first of all, for those who may not know much about Stand With Johnny, let's talk about that. Let everybody know who you are and what you're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for the great introduction. My name is Johnny Austin Thompson, and I'm running for Florida House District 2. It's been a long race so far. I originally started running back in November, so we've been on the campaign trail for quite some time. And you know, one of the reasons I'm running is I love this place. I'm from House District 2. One of the heart centers of it is Pensacola, Florida. I was born down the road at Sacred Heart, right? And I've been here my entire life. The only times I've ever left is when I went to undergrad to get my undergrad education, and when I went to Harvard for law school and to get my master's in public health. And so I've been here my entire life. And so the people I didn't meet through door knocking. The people I met is because I grew up here. I go to the same stores. I went and got my coffee this morning from Everman's. I shop local when I can.
There you go.
And you see familiar faces, right? And when I was growing up here, I felt the effects of Florida legislation constantly. You know, this is whether it was through SNAP benefits being distributed or through how high school programs changed when I was in high school. And I learned that it's so important to get involved, especially at a young age, because these things affect you.
Right.
It doesn't matter if you're going into high school this year, or you just graduated, or you're a grandmother trying to raise your grandchildren in the district.
Right.
You have to be involved because this is going to influence how you live. And when I was growing up, I wanted someone to fight for me, and so I'm here to fight for the people in District 2.
Oh, that's great. You know, and I hear you say that, and you were born and raised right here in Escambia County, right here in Florida, right here in Florida. So, and I say that, and I look at you, and I gotta go there. You're a young man. Now, how are you bridging that gap? Because I like to use this analogy a young man gave me. He said that for the young people, if you don't want to vote, then listen, if you don't want grandma or mama to tell you what to do, then stop allowing grandma to make all the decisions. Because grandma and mama are going out to vote.
Sure thing.
Right? So how are we bridging that gap with you being in that generation to get the young people involved, to understand how important it is for them to speak the loudest with their votes?
Oh yeah, and I love that. It's an absolutely massive gap that we're trying to bridge here, because The younger generation thinks they're too busy to get involved, right? And that's where the really big issues start. So what I'm trying to do is meet people where they are, right? And when I'm talking to the older crowd, like I go to the events where they go, and I'm on Facebook, and that's where I post. But I'm also posting on TikTok, where the younger crowd is online. I'm posting on Instagram Reels, where I know that people from our district are online.
Exactly.
I follow them and they follow me, right? So you got to make sure that you are visible to the crowds that actually matter when you're trying to reach them. Otherwise, they'll never look, right? And you got to spoon feed a little bit, because politics is a lot to have on your head when you're also worried about going to college or getting a job. But it is quintessentially important to everybody, and so you got to meet people where they are.
You're going to college. You had to have a job, but
That's true. That is true.
But think about that. But you made the decision that you want to work for everybody. You want to work for the people. Now that decision could not have been easy. I say that to say you can do the same thing. So, but you got to do one thing: is how can we get them more interested in voting?
Yeah.
I mean, I was looking at the polls, because we're in the midst of early voting right now. That's going to go through the 15th, I believe, of August. And checking with the numbers, they're not as high. So, but how, with you being in that generation, how can we get people motivated like you are?
Yeah, and I think a big way we can do that is by advertising to the right groups that there is this kind of political involvement here in Pensacola and in Navarre and in Santa Rosa and in Escambia. Growing up, I didn't know that there was an Escambia County Democratic caucus that I could attend meetings at to talk to people.
Right.
And when you're trying to get new members, you tell your members that are currently there, hey, invite a friend. Well, when your base is somewhere between 40 to 70, their friends are going to be 40 to 70. Right? And so I think it's about not only letting people know that they're welcome at the table, but actively pursuing them, saying, hey, come to the table. Come to the table. We have reasons for you to be here. You should be here. You belong here.
Right. Not to invite me to the table. Then I don't feel like I can get anything to eat.
Yeah, they're not going to show up to the table uninvited.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. I wouldn't.
Exactly. And I was talking to a gentleman, as I said, in order, even, especially if there's something about the Black community, is that you got to invite me. I'm not just going to walk in. Invite me to make me feel as if I am a part of.
Yeah.
And when I get to the table, don't sit there and say you're at the table, but be quiet. You understand
that's right.
what I'm
That's
saying?
right. Yeah. You got to invite them to the conversation too. Got to invite them to eat. You got to give them food.
What does young leadership mean to you?
Young leadership is so important to me, because I grew up in a generation where it seemed like there wasn't any. You go and look at your representatives, you go to the local leaders, and it's all the older folks, which there's nothing wrong with that, right? They're wise, they have experience. But young leadership's important to me because, you need role models. You need people to look up to. And for me, luckily, I have my older brother to look up to, but a lot of people aren't so fortunate. And so it's nice to be able to look at local leadership, seeing people involved in your community and go like, oh, I can make change. I can do that too. And so that's why it's really important to me.
With your brother, is that what really sparked you? Did you, by watching him making decisions?
Yeah, that's a wonderful question, and it's partially, yeah. He ran in 2025 in the special election for Congress, and I got involved in politics for the first time ever. I was knocking doors for him, I was doing canvassing, but it was a mixture of things, because not only did I have my older brother, Gay Valamont was a massive inspiration for me. I didn't realize, what an impact you could have, especially as a Democrat in the Panhandle. And in the 2025 special election, when she shifted, her district 22 points blue.
Yes, it did.
And Escambia turned blue for the first time in decades. I was like, oh,
19 years.
And people are paying attention, and that's why I got so involved. Is not only was I knocking doors, talking to Republicans, and they were telling me, look, we need change. They were telling me, look, I don't like the people in office, and that's their own party. Then I saw Gay Valamont make the massive swing, and I saw the sentiment shift, and I was like, people are ready for change, so let's give them some change. Let's give them a candidate that is an option for transparency and accountability and respect and integrity, right? Because that wasn't there, right? I didn't feel that was there. And so it was the mixture of my older brother really showing me what you could do, and Gay Valamont showing this is what we are doing.
Exactly. She works hard.
She does. She's one of the hardest workers I've ever met.
Almost the hardest working woman in show business.
Second hardest working
woman. I mean, but I say that when you say, when you talk about the Democratic Party, and I gotta say this because there is a myth that with the Democratic Party is always a riff, and I think that's been planted because of the things that's said. You can say something over and over, it becomes as if it's real, and that's why I think even with the current administration, it's always, the Democrats did this, or we didn't.
Yeah.
But how do you overcome that, being a young Democrat?
Yeah, and I think one thing is important to make it apparent where you stand relative to the Democrats, right? Not
Okay.
every Democrat's the same. Democrats from California are a little different than Democrats from New York. I'm neither
Absolutely.
of those, right? I'm a panhandle Floridian Democrat, which is a lot different, right? I respect our Second Amendment right. People are
course.
scared of me to take their guns. I'm not here to take your guns, and I'll tell that to every
I
Republican
heard that,
I
right?
meet. I've got one of my own. I got a Heritage Rough Rider. It's got a 16-inch barrel. It's really cool. It's awesome, right? You should be able to have a gun,
Right.
Right? And so I'm not taking away your guns. No, I'm not going to raise your taxes,
Right.
Right? I'm here to make sure that you can live here happily. You can thrive. You're not just surviving. I'm here to make sure that you have health insurance and health care
God.
that that takes care of you. If you're sick, you should be able to go get taken care of and not wipe out your entire savings account.
Exactly.
Right? I'm here to make sure that your children, when they go to school, they're getting educated. It's not just good for the people who have children in the school system. It's good for everybody. It's
Most
a positive
certainly.
externality for every single citizen in Florida. And so it's telling Republicans that is what I'm working on. That is what I'm doing. We're in this together. Instead of them hearing I'm a dirty Democrat, I'm trying to do these awful things to you that you hear online. It's a whole different ballpark.
Absolutely. And I often tell people, it doesn't matter what title you may go under, just do the right thing.
Do the right thing. And you'd think it'd be a lot easier than
Just to do the right thing.
yeah, I
But
absolutely agree.
but it's so difficult.
Mm-hmm.
And I wonder how is it that I don't see that it's not that way. How can you not?
Yeah.
I think that's that. I don't want to use that word brainwashing, but that's what it is to me.
It seems like brainwashing, but I'll tell you what, I feel like a lot of people are waking up. Right now in House District 2, specifically my district, there are more Democrat mail-in ballots requested than Republican right now. That's huge. That's massive.
Say that again?
Yeah, there are more requested mail-in ballots for Democrats than there are Republicans.
Okay.
All the way here in the Panhandle, Florida, in the most red congressional district that exists, my House district has the most Democrats right now, more than Republicans requesting mail-in ballots.
So mail them back now.
Mail them back, mail them on in. But I think people are waking up on some level, and that's what's really been driving me so hard the past few weeks in the election cycle is when I'm talking to people, I see change. And it's one thing to want change, it's another thing to see it.
Oh God, I like that. One thing to want it, but
Another thing
another
to
to
see
see it. That is great. What do you think the biggest issue facing the young folk today?
Facing the young folks, I think it's inheriting this lifestyle and economy that's too expensive, right? When you have parents that are working multiple jobs to try to support one kid, well, what do you expect that kid to do when they get old enough, right? And
Exactly.
So it's a lot of the things that affect the older crowd are going to affect the younger crowd when they enter the job market, right?
Right.
If you want to go buy a house in Florida, you know how hard that is right now.
Oh Lord Jesus.
People are complaining that right now the younger generation are living with their parents for much longer than past generations have. Go look at the housing market. And I don't have to tell you to, because everybody knows it in Florida, right? And so when I hear my opponents get on stage and that's not one of the number one things they're talking about, like what are they even looking at for policy? I live and breathe policy. That's what I've done my whole time at Harvard Law.
Exactly.
And we got to fix it.
And when you talk about the insurances and everything like that, when a home, oh my God, I'm here to tell you, I'm one that knows.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's just increases. Is it because of the fact that the decisions that are being made, these people don't have to live in the everyday life of an everyday person that has to go out there and work two jobs to make the ends meet? You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think I honestly believe and I'm not just saying this because I'm sitting here and I'm looking at your pretty hair. No, what did they tell you about that curl?
Yeah.
Didn't somebody tell a Republican tell you what to
Some
cut?
older Republicans tell me I need to get a shorter haircut.
I had to get that in,
But
okay?
they tell me I speak well. They tell me they like what I have to say. They just don't like the curl.
They want you to cut your hair.
Yeah.
Isn't that something?
Yeah, I'm not going to change my hair, but
Don't cut your hair. I mean, this man is but son, I like what you said, but you just got to cut that curl.
you sound just like him. that's pretty accurate.
I mean, but when it comes to, do the young people feel like they're being heard, or they feel like they're being left out because of how the world is today?
I think it's frustrating because I do think they feel left out, but it's their own fault, right? The young generation is the generation who will get online and they'll scream what needs to change, but they won't go to the polls.
Exactly.
Right? It's hypocritical. And
Very
we've
much
got to
so.
fix that. We got to get them going to the polls, and it's a challenge. It's an uphill battle to get them there. But you can't complain when you're banging your fork at the table, but you're not actually willing to help out and contribute.
Absolutely. And do that not understand, I mean, I think you're going to be a great example that maybe will show some of the younger people to get up, let's make a difference, because of you're in that generation.
Yeah.
That you can have that by going to school, getting your degree, becoming a lawyer, and all of that, right? But you've got to also look at what you're living in, the state of the world, or where it is today, to make a change. I believe that with your making that step going forward, with great ideas, great things that you can bring to us, what are some of the things that you'd like to see change when you win?
Yeah, so one of the promises I have made, and I fully intend to uphold, is I'm going to be the most proactive legislature Florida has ever seen.
Okay.
Right. During my time at Harvard Law School, I had already been working on different changes I would love to see Florida implement based on what other states are doing. Right. And this is the beautiful thing about the United States is you've got 49 other states you can pull policy from and see how it affected the other states.
Exactly.
And so the big change is, right, we got to make sure that we're making it competitive for insurance companies to lower these prices. Right now, the way that they enter Florida makes it not super competitive. They can price what they want. That's a massive issue. Another thing, though, we have to at the same time to draw down those prices, make sure we're weatherizing houses and taking care of the people that are here.
Right.
Right now, Florida has a massive budget, $117 billion. Right, and they allocate it for a lot of different things, and as they have to. But we have wiggle room to put that spending towards things like weatherizing houses. My Florida Safe Homes is already an organization, already a system we have in place to help homes. We got to do that. Right. Other things I care deeply about. I don't want to ramble too long.
No, ramble.
Florida does not have a state-sponsored program to make sure kids are eating in schools. I don't know if you know that.
They don't?
Not at all. Right now, what we're doing is we're drawing down federal funding, but we're not even drawing it down completely. There are hundreds of schools that don't draw down federal funding because it's not a full program. It doesn't fully cover all the costs. So these schools are scared to bring them down because it'll cut into their budgets. Florida has to stop that. We need to provide the extra funding to make sure these schools are getting all the federal funding we need to feed kids. It's federal. It's not even going to charge Florida for that amount. We just got to cover the top. Make sure we're feeding kids in schools. You can't study when you're hungry, right? And
That's
so
right.
we need a stronger workforce. We want better economies. It starts with the children. We got to make sure we're paying our teachers, right? Teachers aren't getting paid enough. We need this to be a competitive job. You know how big an impact a teacher can have on a child's life?
They're with them all the time.
Yeah, and then we're making our teachers have to sometimes work 2 jobs. You want our teachers right now to be grading papers at home, but at the same time you're asking them to go Uber Eats or do something afterwards and make up extra change. We can't do that anymore. So another change I'm going to propose is making sure that we're getting enough pay for our teachers. And then we got to bolster our health infrastructure. I already mentioned that a little bit, but it's kind of insane. Right now, not only is the United States behind, as an entire country behind other first world countries,
Right.
developed countries, Florida is in the bottom percentile of states for healthcare. Right? We've got to fix that.
You see, ladies and gentlemen, he has his down to a science, what he's going to make better for us. So I say that because I'm so proud to hear these things, because these are the things that are affecting so many of the people everyday life right here in Florida. When you talk about the gap that's between the younger generation and the mature generation, what are you feeling from the older generation?
Yeah, I think the things I'm feeling from the older generation are very centered around like affordability. And it's a shame because what I've heard a lot in the district is these families that have been here their entire lives feeling priced out. And that's tragic, right? Right now we have people moving to Florida because they want to retire at the same time that we have people in the same age range that are scared they need to leave Florida because they can't afford to stay here.
That's
right?
sad.
Yeah, and that's messed up. Like, that's not the kind of economy that I want to build up in Florida. We need an economy that welcomes people to move in and retire, but we've got to make sure that people here are feeling safe and secure in their homes. And so we got to make sure that we're taking care of those affordability needs, and it's dire. It's now or never, right? This isn't something that we need to work on down the road. The legislature has a toolbox. We need to open it, and we got to start using it.
Most certainly. Now, you are a very young man that's working on, you're about to get your graduate with your law degree, Harvard. And I mean, you also have one with mental health.
It's a master's in public health, yeah.
Oh, really? So why the two?
Yeah, so actually, I never thought I'd end up in politics. I figured it'd be helpful if I ever did down the road, but the reason I started doing it is, I'll take a step back and say when I went to the University of Alabama for undergrad, I originally did it in economics because I grew up in Pensacola, Florida, and I saw a divide happening between what we call informally the alphabet streets and the very wealthy areas, like the money getting poured into downtown and, East Hill areas. And I was always kind of curious, like, what makes that function? How can we fix that? And I finished my undergrad degree, and I realized, it was a little bit too theoretical to help me solve that problem.
Right.
And so I was like, all right, let's add law school. I think law school would be a great way to learn how to, legislate, make policy, make changes that can help people. And then even as I was in law school, there was still a gap missing. I was looking at people and how they interact and how local governments make change, and there was a missing piece, which is health. right? You can do all the policy you want, but if you don't know how that affects people's lives,
Absolutely.
then there's still going to be a massive hole where you're trying to legislate and make policy, right? So I decided to do this master's in public health so I could see how could we make change that not only helps people economically, but how does that translate into health and making people's lives higher quality.
Most certainly. Ladies and gentlemen, we're talking with Johnny Austin. No, Stand with Johnny.
Stand with Johnny, Johnny Austin.
There you go.
Yeah,
Stand with Johnny. You can look him up that way, right? Yeah. But we're going to come back and talk with more. We got to run, take a break. We got lots of conversation because he is so on fire. Can't you feel it? Right here. We'll talk more on Sunshine's Corner.
I learned during my military service to train every day to fight and fight to win. If you've been injured in an accident, you already know one thing for sure. The insurance companies are going to fight you for every dollar you deserve. At Michelson Booth, we settle most of the cases we handle. But if the insurance companies choose to fight, well, we're okay with that too. If you've been injured in an accident, choose a law firm that's got the resources, training, and stomach for the fight. Michelson Booth. Don't be a victim twice.
Nestled in the heart of Pensacola, Dorothy's is a one-of-a-kind, community-driven cocktail bar by Oasis, Florida, created to sustain vital HIV and STI care across the Florida Panhandle. Inspired by the Wizard of Oz, rooted in inclusion, and dripping with character, Dorothy's is a welcoming space with award-winning Oz-inspired cocktails, food by Steel Pony Diner, and an unmatched atmosphere. Join us 7 days a week in downtown Pensacola, located directly across from Maritime Park and the Blue Wahoo Stadium.
Many who consider facial plastic surgery are concerned their results will look unnatural. But with over 20 years of serving the Pensacola community, his thousands of satisfied patients have made Dr. Derek Jones a trusted reconstructive and facial plastic surgeon known for industry-leading results that look natural. Call 850-484-FACE to schedule a consultation at one of our locations in Pensacola and Gulf Breeze.
I'm Dr. Derek Jones. Trust your face to a facial plastic surgeon.
I'm Dr. Isaac Williams, candidate for Escambia County School Board District 3. In 5 years, over 5,000 students have walked away from our public schools. That is not just a statistic, that's a wake-up call. Our schools deserve strong and accountable leadership that puts students first, restores trust, and keeps families right here at home. It's time for a change. Terminate the failure. Rebuild our schools. I'm Dr. Isaac Williams, and I will appreciate your vote.
Paid for by Dr. Isaac Williams, Escambia School Board District 3.
And welcome back to our conversation. I think now we're letting the light shine right here today on a conversation that should be shining every day. We have now your campaign is called Stand with Johnny.
Yes.
So you can go to all the social media platforms and find that. And what would you like people to know how they can help you?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you are, you don't even have to be in district. If you guys want to donate and contribute to my campaign, it's expensive. And I'll tell you, the people I'm running against, they've got deep pocketbooks from the same state rep, little list that they get passed down every time. So if you're able to contribute, that's huge to me.
That's right.
If you're in district specifically, if you can have yard signs in your yard, if you're willing to do that, that'd be amazing. Let me know. I'll personally drop it off to you to make sure that we have that in your yard.
Right. What would you say to young people who says, politics has nothing to do with me?
I'd say that they're extremely wrong. They need to reevaluate what they're saying. I need to talk to their mama. I don't know how they were raised. They're saying that.
Thank you.
You got to get involved, and it can start at any level. You don't have to go run for office. You don't have to get
involved.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just get involved.
Absolutely. It starts at the basic level. If you are not proactive in groups online, join groups. Right? If you look at my social media and you interact with me, that goes a long way. If you want to volunteer, I've got room for you. If you want to door knock, phone bank, you come get involved. Come be
Absolutely.
Part of it.
And you see, I see something that you're doing that's important because the young people, this is where they live, all this. So therefore, you're going that route to reach them where they are. And when it comes to youth at the table, we're so used to seeing the good old boy. I don't want to say good old boys anymore, but it's been a good old boy thing for so long. And I was talking to Derek, BJ, and all the guys, how it looks to see, even across the entire platform, it's the younger people that's stepping up, that's trying to make a difference. And I'm wondering what is it that caused that light to go off, to get so many people young involved, what would you say? I know you said earlier about what you watched when you were growing up, but there's so many things that's happening in the world today that's affecting all of us, young, old, and in the middle. What do you think the real wake-up call was?
Yeah, I think it's become to the point where it's almost unavoidable, right? And there was a day and age back when politics was something kind of like in the air, in the sky, right? And you didn't have to really deal with it. But things keep changing on a national policy scale and a national politics scale where it has my attention. I think that's happening to the younger generation. Like, one of the reasons I'm running is I was like, there's no better time to use my voice than right now because we need change now.
Right.
And I think that's the same effect that's happening down the line is when you see all these bad change happening, whether it's, the big beautiful bill and how it's hurting the lower class and the middle class, but helping the rich. And I think you get sick of it.
Absolutely.
And it sucks that that's kind of the motivation, is getting sick and tired of it. But when your stomach turns and you get your gut wrenched a little bit because you hear what's going on, it's like, we can't let this injustice keep going.
I agree.
Right? And I think that's what's kind of lighting the younger generation up.
I'm glad to hear that. And you see, I hear a lot of young people, my vote doesn't matter. It's not going to make any difference if I do not vote. Nothing's going to change with us. And I'm talking now from the community, from my community.
Yeah.
I hear that narrative coming from a lot of people. And with you being young, vibrant, enthusiastic, all of this good stuff into one big bundle, what would you say to my community where they felt like they've been left out of so many things?
I think I would say, first off, there is more than enough room at the table. And honestly, the communities that you're a part of are the communities that are supporting me the most right now. And they're the reason I'm running. And that is, I mentioned my brother, I mentioned Gabe Alamont. When we have events, it'll be a Saturday morning and the Environmental Caucus will invite me to something. And there are people sitting in chairs at Saturday mornings at 10 a.m. to talk about the things they care about.
Right.
And it's these communities that even inspire me to be able to get into the ring. Right. And so one thing I'd say to them is, thank you and keep showing up.
Exactly.
We need it. We have to be there. But second off is we have an actual chance right now. And when I say an actual chance, I don't mean like, we have a shot in the dark. What I'm saying is, I mentioned earlier in House District 2, we have more Democrat ballots requested than Republican. Right now, we haven't seen a House election since Gabe Alamont turned Escambia County blue.
Absolutely.
And people don't know what that means.
That's right.
Right? Not only is this race, like right now, not very probable, I think it is the first domino that will fall. Right? And right now, we have plenty of races. There's a lot of horses in a lot of races right now. This is the one to watch because we have more Democrat involvement than we have Republican. And that is a massive thing that people don't understand.
Absolutely. He said a mouthful there, guys. And I mean, I want to understand that because I'm glad to see you say that you're getting a lot of participation or, people that from my community that are supporting you. So there, obviously, we see something that we need, and we think that we can get it through you. And when I say we, I'm talking about the young people that are right there around you. That's also going to imply to them that maybe let's give this young man a chance so he can bring some of this stuff back, that can get rid of this stuff that's trying to take us back to 1930.
Yeah.
Try to take us back to back then, which we're not going back. We're not going back to that. Dream on. And to hear you say that you're getting that from the community, it makes me smile. And I want to say this, everybody, we're in the midst of early voting right now. Therefore, you can go out to any polling place and vote. Now, 18th, you got to go to your precinct. But this today, if you're downtown for lunch, it take you just a minute.
Go vote.
Go vote. Go be heard. Get your voices heard. I don't know about you, but I tell anybody, when there's an issue that you see that's happening, you can be a part of the change. But you got to use your voice.
Yeah.
We've got the power.
We do have the power, and I love that statement because people think a Democrat win in the Panhandle is a long shot, and it's not right now.
No.
Right now, we are not the underdogs.
No.
The Republicans are the underdogs in House District 2, at least. I mean, I don't pay attention super close to everybody's races, but in my race, that's an incredible feeling.
Exactly.
I started this race with maybe a 5% chance in my head of winning. That's not the case. Right now, they are the underdog.
Exactly.
We are right now have the power. So if you want to be able to elect your officials, you got to go to the polls.
Absolutely. And I wish you could have seen your face when it lit up.
I get passionate about this. I get fired up about it.
I mean, when your face is lit up, we said, no, we're not the underdog, you know? But that's a good feeling because we've been there so long. And what I want there's something John Lewis said that I want everybody to never forget. When you want to get in trouble, get in some good trouble. That good trouble is go out there and vote. That's the best good trouble you can have.
Absolutely.
You know, vote, make the change. It is not good to say that, oh, I want, but if you don't vote, you have no right to say anything. Be quiet.
Absolutely. You know, a lot of people thought their vote was getting thrown away for a long time.
Oh, God, yes.
I'm not in that state anymore.
There you go.
Right?
I mean, come on, don't make me go crying. I mean, because, I mean, when you know, these are the kind of things that I feel like young people such as yourself can make that change right here on the Gulf Coast. Starting with, I want to ask you something that's really, now, you've walked into I wrote this down so I wouldn't forget this one.
All right.
You've walked in that political world where many people will tell you, this is how we're always going to do it because this is how it's always been done. What is the one thing that you're willing to say that maybe we've always done it that way, but that way doesn't mean that it was the right way? For what the next generation, what would that be for you to make that change?
For me, it's getting involved across the aisle.
Okay.
Right, and the way that it's always been done here, at least I know in Escambia County and Santa Rosa County, is you have your Republican groups that have their events, and you go to their events if you're a Republican. You have the Democrat groups events that you show up to if you're a Democrat, and you talk to them, you get your team, and you rally your support, and you go about it that way. I don't think that's the correct way to do it anymore.
Right.
I think you need to be involved in both groups, right? And I personally took it upon myself to go to Republican events where I don't see a single face in the crowd. But that's important, because you can't just go see the same people that you know are going to support you and say, oh, go vote. They're already going to vote, right? And that's so important that we expand our horizons and we reach across the aisle. And I'll tell you what, you know, I don't think my opponents understand that if they are elected, that they would be representing the Democrats. I want you to know that when I am elected, I will be representing both the Democrats and the Republicans.
Say it again.
They're my constituents. They're my people. And I have an absolute promise that I will shake everybody's hand in my district, even after I'm elected, right? I'm not just meeting people now while I'm running and campaigning. And hopefully by the end of this campaign, I'll have met half the people in my district. Well, then guess what? Half the job is done. I want to meet every single person because I represent every single person in the district.
You got it down, Johnny.
Absolutely.
No, but it's coming from the heart. And when you say that, you're not going to be one of those when I would pick up the phone and say, Johnny, this is Sonshine.
I'll say, hey, Sonshine.
No, I'll call her back. Johnny, 2 days later, this is Sonshine. I'll call her back. You're not going to be one of those.
I'm not, absolutely. You know, and we had a congressperson who bragged about giving his phone number out to people while he was campaigning. You know what he did as soon as he got in the office?
Changed it.
He changed his phone number. I'm not going to be that because I want to talk to you guys. Right. I'm happy to be here. I want this job. I don't want the power. I don't want the position. I want the job.
Exactly.
I want to represent, right?
Absolutely.
And so you can't do that without having people to represent.
Absolutely. And when you get the job, he's going to continue with that. Hi, how are you today? Okay, but listen, when you said a moment ago that you are getting a lot of participation from the Black community, what do you attribute that to?
I attribute it to like them caring. You know, I don't know if it's because they're just so like close knit as a community and they're able to draw out the community because they're knit together. I think it's because they care, right? They're a community that have been here and they have been disadvantaged for a very long time, and it's an absolute shame. And I think when people feel the effects right now that are going on in the nation, they feel it the hardest, right? And so I think them being disadvantaged, right? And I'm trying to speak as a person who has been in the community but not a permanent member.
Exactly.
Right? But we feel it. But I'll say like we feel it, and I think it's something that you have to use your voice. And I think it's a lot of the motivations that I say are similar to me, right? The reasons that I am speaking up is that you feel it, and it's like, well, what do I do besides use my voice?
Right.
And I'll say I love the community because they don't just show up; they show out. They don't just sit there. They get loud and they tell you what you need to hear and what the issues are. And it's been an amazing source of not only inspiration, and energy for me, but getting to understand how we can help these communities get better, right? And so I imagine it's a lot of the same motivations for me.
Most certainly. Ladies and gentlemen, we're having a great conversation with Stand With Johnny. I'm trying to plant that in their head. Stand With Johnny. Look that on social media. Look up his website, standwithjohnny.com. There it is. We're going to come back and talk more with Johnny as we stand right here on Sonshine's Corner.
For 75 years, we've been caring for families, creating jobs, and working to build a healthier community. This is your home, and ours too. We're honored to be the trusted partner in your care. Baptist Healthcare, here for you then, now, and always.
Hey everybody, I'm Eric Bramer.
And I'm Charlie Hobart.
You can tune in Fridays at 5:30 on Blab TV for Wahoos Weekly, your weekly in-depth look at the Pensacola Blue Wahoos on the field and off.
We'll be talking to players and highlighting initiatives in the community that make Pensacola so special.
And when the Blue Wahoos are here at home, it leads right into live game coverage from Blue Wahoo Stadium. That's Wahoos Weekly, Fridays at 5:30
on Blab TV.
Get a fresh cut and a fresh start at AHW Barber Academy. We focus on growth. Join us at 3822 North 9th Avenue, Pensacola, for a top-notch $6 haircut while supporting aspiring barbers. Our students learn in a real-world setting, guided by experienced professionals to become licensed barbers. Need a cut or a new career? Visit AHW Barber Academy or call 850-692-9298.
Hi, I'm Kathy Holsworth, Artistic Director at Pensacola Little Theater in the Clark Family Cultural Center. Join me the first Monday of every month at 7 p.m. for the Center Stage, where I get to talk to my friends and your neighbors about all things on PLT stages.
Take a breath and step into something green. At Pensacola Seed and Garden, both of our locations are open 7 days a week, ready when you are. We don't just sell plants, we grow many of them right here with care you can see. And once you take one home, you'll find everything you need to help it thrive. Visiting from out of town? Discover unique exotic plants you can bring home, often for less than ordering online. Pensacola Seed and Garden. Grow something beautiful.
And welcome back to a conversation out today. I have enjoyed this conversation so much today. Darn, I told you last night I was excited, but man, it went by so fast. Because when I talk to you, Johnny, I've always, and I say this often, when I talk to you, I look into your eyes. Your eyes are the window to your soul.
I've heard that.
It is. You can tell by a person's eyes, even with the pupils, how they move. If they're telling the truth. Mm-hmm. If they mean what they're saying. If a person cannot look you in the face, look out. It was like, well, Johnny, well, I'll tell you, Johnny, come on. That says something. Yeah. But we have not broken that look yet. And you say, oh, really? I've heard that. So therefore, you didn't know that I was watching just to see if your pupil's going to, play around. But I say that, but I want you to continue to do what you're doing because you are on the right road, I do believe.
Thank you.
When you think about young people growing up in Santa Rosa County today, what do you want their future to look like? Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
down the road.
I want their future to look like a clear path to being able to stay in Florida and stay happy, right? And it sounds easier said than done. It's a shame that this is a challenge right now for our generation. But you should be able to go to school, get an amazing education. Right? You should have teachers that want to be there and are excited to teach you. Right. You should be able to have opportunities at your fingertips. I originally graduated high school at 18 as valedictorian, and I've accomplished an undergrad degree in 3 semesters instead of 4. The only reason I was able to do that is great dual enrollment program. Thank you, I appreciate it. That's not to brag, it's just we have opportunity at our fingertips, and I want to foster that. I want people that are in our district to be able to become what they want, and if they're not right for dual enrollment or going into liberal arts colleges, we should have schools that get them ready for on-the-job careers, right? Whether they want to become a technician or a plumber or whatever you have, an electrician. And this is important that you have pathways either way. And I want that opportunity to be there for people to thrive. And then I want them to be able to buy a home here and live here. It's exactly. I don't want you growing up on Santa Rosa Beach or Escambia County beaches and then getting sent out of the state because you can't afford it. Yeah. Or that's despicable. We should have room for everybody who's being born here to be able to stay and thrive in Florida. Because we find that now with some of the readings and the studies I've been doing that they will get their education and leave. Yeah. You got to keep that talent.
Exactly. Keep it right
here. Let's keep it here.
Absolutely. We're rapidly approaching the top of the hour, and we've talked about so many things, but a strong person like you that's out running, a young person that's out to make the change, what would you just like to tell the people today? Yeah. Coming from Standing with Johnny.
Yeah, coming from Standing with Johnny, I'd love to tell the people, I want you guys to pay attention to what you guys see. right? The other party will tell you to ignore your ears, ignore your eyes, and vote how you should vote. But I want to tell you guys to look and listen, right? Everything that I am telling you and that you've heard from me today and any day that I am speaking to you, whether it's on social media or in person, is coming straight from the heart.
Right.
You know, I'll tell you, if I was rehearsing this, if this was something I memorized to try to do good on social media, I would be messing up all over. I'm not that smart. I'm pretty smart, but I'm not that smart. So just pay attention. See what's going on with your local elected officials. Pay attention to this House race, because this is a big one and there's about to be a lot of change. But I want you guys to see and hear and make your own decision. Think for yourselves. Don't let your parties tell you where to vote. I don't care if you're a Republican. I don't care if you're a Democrat. I want you to see and hear and listen to me.
Exactly.
Focus on the transparency. Focus on the accountability. Focus on the respect. Because that's all I have for this office, and all I want to do is make sure I can take care of you and your sister and your brother and your mom and your dad and your grandma and your son and your daughter, and make sure that we can all be happy in Florida, right? And that's what I'm going to do.
Absolutely. I mean, he didn't leave out anybody cousin either. I mean, it's so good to hear such young, fresh ideas that you want to do to make the difference right here in Florida and keep it here in Florida. And for you, Johnny, and I kind of bring this up because I want to say this to my community for how they're sticking behind you and supporting you. Continue to do that, but most of all, vote. Talk about voting to our people, how important it is.
The most important thing you guys can do if you want to influence policy is vote. And I say this both to what you describe as your community and the younger community, everybody who is involved in Florida whatsoever, you have to use your voice. If you're not voting, it doesn't matter how much you complain throughout the week. It doesn't matter how much you get on social media and you post. If you are not going to the polls, you're part of the problem.
Exactly.
Right? So don't be part of the problem. You want a solution. Let's be a part of the solution. Let's go vote. Let's go use our voices.
Absolutely. With you, and I see all this enthusiasm, right? To get people all motivated. I love it, love it, love
Fired
it.
Fired up.
You're fired. What's that other thing say? Fired up. Something like
actually, I love you brought that up because I've been making my own chant recently. So one thing that I loved was when my first ever political thought, if we have a second, is probably back when I was in the 4th grade. I might have been like 7.
Oh, wow.
And I remember saying to my dad, he's a Republican, and I got in the car and I was like, Dad, I want Barack Obama to win the election.
Oh.
And he was like, all right, son. And then he just left it at that because he was probably in favor of John McCain at the time.
Of course.
But he let me have my thought. But I feel like the last time politics was like respectable was when Barack Obama was in office. Back when it wasn't like a snake pit. Yeah. And so one thing that Barack Obama did in Greenswood, South Carolina, is he ended up getting from this lady named Edith Childs, who was a community organizer, a phrase saying that he'd do on the campaign that would get him ready. And he would say, I'm fired up, and they'd say, I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
But what I've been saying is I feel like the community is doing the same fight as me, so I like saying, I'm fired up, and then the community repeat back to me, we're fired up.
Oh.
We're doing this together, right? So when I say I'm fired up, I think that every time in the car before I do an event because I learned about Barack Obama doing that. And so I think about that every time because I'm fired up, I'm ready, let's do this.
I mean, you make me smile when you say that because I think he was the coolest. I don't see how he maintained without going off.
Yeah.
And he didn't do it not one time.
Yeah, they used to complain about things about him. Oh, well, you wore a tan suit, but now you look at politics nowadays, and it's.
I mean, a tan suit.
Yeah, okay? It's crazy. It's crazy how things change.
A tan suit.
Yeah.
And he said, I thought I looked good.
I think he did. I like the tan suit. I'd wear a tan suit.
There you go. But to hear that, to say that, because you see what positivity brings. I do believe right now, Johnny, with the world, even though, and yes, I'm going to say this. I believe that everybody, Republicans included, they're sick of the rhetoric that's going on.
Yeah.
All the lies that have been told, there's no way you can't see it. I believe everybody is tired of that. And I believe that's why the shift is taking place as it is right now because, fired up.
Fired up.
I mean, but I think they're all fired up to the point that we're ready to see something change.
Yeah.
For the betterment of the people. You think about what the gas prices. I mean, it's horrible to go to the gas station and fill up your car. I mean, where it used to take $40, now it takes almost $100.
Yeah.
Just to fuel your vehicle, and the prices are steadily going up. But the fact of it is, when I hear you say that you want the change for everybody, inclusive of everybody right here on the Gulf Coast that grew up with you, because you are a Gulf Coast Floridian.
Yeah.
That I see that you want to bring that back. Sure, you left and went to Harvard, you went to University of Alabama, but what did you come back to?
You came back home.
You brought it back home.
Brought it back home. That's where I want to stay. I want to be here my entire life. And I'm tired of the rhetoric. you know, I go to these events and my opponents get on stage and they say things that are pandering, and you know, I won't name names, but one of them, you start talking about George Washington and his founding principles because he knew that would get the crowd riled up. And I'm sick of it. Like, let's stop saying things to try to get reactions out of people. Let's stop saying things to put a certain persona on stage.
Exactly.
You say what you mean, and let's see who comes out at the end of the day.
Absolutely. And you're right, to get the rhetoric going, to get the crowd off. You can say things that will spark that fire. Just, I mean, to get that going. I'm so glad to hear that. Because we're really tired of that. We really want to see change. And it's something else that President Obama said. Change is necessary. It may not feel good, but it's necessary.
Absolutely.
And I say to you, continue to work with the force that I see coming from you. Because I think you bring something that's needed. And this is me, what I think. I think that I'm glad to see younger people stepping out to try to step into the arena to bring that change that we need, so that mama and grandmama won't have to continue to make those decisions for you. You know, because if they're the one that's voting. I can't say enough on how do you want people to find you. Tell about all your social medias, how they can look you up. Give you a website, so if you want them to find out more about Standing with Johnny, I want to keep that, let's brand that in their thought process.
Yeah, so you can find my website at standwithjohnny.com. On Facebook is Stand With Johnny as well. My Instagram is Johnny4House. It's a little bit different. That name was taken. But you can find me online, standwithjohnny.com. My website has information. You can reach out to me if you want to volunteer, be a part of my campaign. And Facebook, you can stay up to date with what I'm doing on a day-to-day basis. Find me around Northwest Florida and come see me at these events.
Absolutely. We got to run and take another break. When we come back, we're going to wrap it up right here on Sunshine's Corner. Stand with Sunshine as we light the stage with Johnny.
Hey folks, Winston Lindsay here with Living Southern Homes in Brewton, Alabama. We just want to remind you our new show will be coming on at 5:30 on Mondays on Blab TV and also Thursday at noon. Don't miss these opportunities. We will see you then.
Hi, I'm Emily Echeverria, Marketing Communications Director for Council on Aging of West Florida, where we're dedicated to helping seniors and their families live healthier, happier, and more connected lives. That's why I'm proud to host Coming of Age, an engaging show highlighting local experts, community partners, and ambassadors of the programs and services making a difference locally. Watch Coming of Age Wednesdays, 3:30 on Blab TV and anytime on YouTube. And remember, enjoy life. You've earned it.
The Emerald Coast Utilities Authority's state-of-the-art materials recycling facility processes recyclables for communities throughout the region, lowering need for more landfills. This highly efficient recycling service accepts glass, paper, cardboard, plastics, aluminum, and more. But we need your help. Please make sure your recyclables are clean of garbage, food, and liquids. Also, please remember that plastic shopping bags, foam products, or yard waste are not recyclable. To learn more, go to livegreenecua.com.
Well, I think it's all about local, and I'm a big believer in local. So I think anytime you can carry a message out locally, it's important. And I think it's anytime the person that delivers the service can also deliver the message, which is unusual. You have the people that actually deliver the project doing the talking, and I think that's a huge difference, and really makes a huge value difference for the consumer. So I'm really just so grateful that we have this local opportunity with Blab TV. My name is Quint Studer, and I am Blab TV.
And welcome back to a conversation that we should have all the time, being honest and transparent. Transparency is something I think in politics that we've been missing because that's what Johnny's bringing to the table, lots of transparency. And he is a student, Harvard graduate. Wow. University of Alabama.
Roll Tide.
War Eagle. Look at her. And then the fact that this, I mean, you got, that's what I was reading when you were valedictorian in high school, but that's good. You've had that foundation of the smarts all the way up, you know?
I'm fighting, we're working for it.
Fighting for it all the time. And then you are now I see you exercising and training for something else.
Yeah, it's hard to fit in while you're campaigning, but I'm working on completing an Ironman, so I've been doing Ironman training.
So what is Ironman?
Yeah, so it's a triathlon. It's a 2-mile swim followed by a 112-mile bike followed by a full marathon, which is 26 miles.
You say what now? Say that again.
Yeah, so it's a little bit longer than 2 miles. 2-mile swim, 112-mile bike, and then a little bit over 26 miles of a run. It's a full marathon.
So how do you practice for this? You have to swim every day?
Yeah, basically, you'll catch me at the YMCA early in the morning swimming laps back and forth, and I got to bike a lot and I got to run a lot.
Oh my goodness, when is this going to take place?
So I'm doing it next year as my full, so I've got a long time to train. This is
you think that, but it'll be here before you know
it. Does. Year goes by fast. I originally started campaigning last November, and we're almost.
And look at this now.
Yeah, it happens quickly, but.
So when you win, you're going to still be doing this Ironman?
I'll still be training. I'll still be training after I win for another 6 months.
Oh my God! Do you ever think about going into movies?
I've thought about it. I'd love to do some sort of acting down the line if it's possible. But, right now I'm just so focused on District 2 and winning this campaign.
District 2 with you and talk about it on your TV show.
That'd be great. If anybody wants to cast me in their TV show after I win this race,
we talked about a show. Katie and I talked about a show. We're going to get this show going. Yeah.
What show is that?
I think we said The Bachelor, something like that.
Yeah, well, somebody addressed me early on when I started running as the most eligible bachelor in the Panhandle running for House District 2, and I thought that was pretty endearing.
That is.
I was flattered to hear that.
He's blushing.
I am blushing. I hope you guys don't see me right on camera.
You getting there? No, but that's get that smile out of you. I want to say, Johnny, thank you so much for agreeing to come in with me, because I said, okay, we had talked about, nope, couldn't do that date. Nope, can't do that date.
We made it work.
But we made it work. And I'm pleased that you said, yes, I want to just motivate you to continue to do what you do, because we need the change.
We certainly do.
And,
I'll be doing this as much as I possibly can up until the election, and even then it doesn't stop. Even if win or lose, it's still part of the community, and you should
don't
still
use
be
that word.
It's
not in your vocabulary.
You're right. You're right. But come November 3rd, I think we'll see some amazing results, and I'll be pushing forward all the way up until then and after then.
Oh wow! I can imagine seeing you on that day when they call it, and the winner is.
You'll probably see me that day. I'll be probably doing a celebration party at Seville Quarter downtown, if I had to guess.
There you go. What's that, Daddy? I mean, you got it. I mean, that's a good thing. Again, now let's remind everybody, because we're right at the top of the hour, we got to remind everybody how they can get into. I want to brand this in their head. Mm-hmm. Stand with Johnny.
Yeah,
stand with Johnny. Stand with Johnny. Social media, Stand with Johnny. Website, standwithjohnny.com.
Exactly.
And one more was different.
Yeah, so my Instagram's a little bit different. It's Johnny4House. But you can also find the link at standwithjohnny.com and Stand with Johnny on my Facebook. So those are really the two most important. Those will keep you up to date with what I'm doing day to day, how you can be in contact, how you can help my campaign.
And if you need volunteers?
I certainly do need volunteers. So you come to standwithjohnny.com. It's the same place.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you can let me know if you want to just reach out with me. You want to tell me concerns. You can also go to my website just to tell me what I need to be worried about when I get to Tallahassee.
Absolutely. Want to make a donation?
Want to make a donation? Go to standwithjohnny.com.
There you go. We're getting it there.
Johnny. You can go to my Act Blue. You can also write me a check.
Did you see that finger? but Johnny, keep doing what you're doing, because I think you're going to bring about a lot of change. And ladies and gentlemen, this is a young man that's coming in. I mean, he is so motivated, and I love the fact that with the energy that he has, let's just keep motivating him. And for my community, keep watching, keep doing what we're doing to help people that's going out to make a big change as you are. And I know that it will be. Now, if you had to tell somebody now to vote, if you had to tell somebody why they should vote for you, what would you tell them?
I think there's a clear difference between myself and my opponents. And I think that's apparent when you hear me talk and you watch me speak or you see me interact with people in the community. Nothing I say is pandering to the community. I'm tired of the rhetoric, right? I'm not telling you, oh, I knocked these doors, this is what I've heard. Everyone says that to just tell you they've been knocking doors and pretend they've been busy. Mm-hmm. I really have been busy shaking hands and meeting people. And I think when you see me interact and you hear the things I have to say, you can tell there's a difference, right? And so I would say you should go vote for me, because you can have a representative that actually cares about you, that will represent this district, who is transparent, who is accountable, and who is respectful towards the people who live here. And I just want to make everybody happy, have a better place for Floridians, right? And so that's what I'm about. And so if you want a candidate that you can trust and that will take care of you, that you don't have to worry about their sneaky decisions in Tallahassee, you got it.
that sneakiness there, ooh, you got that right, but some sneaky things happen anyway.
Certainly do.
But with a clean slate that you're bringing, I say continue to do what you're doing. And ladies and gentlemen, we have had a conversation today talking with a young man that's doing, he's stepping out there in faith. And I believe that he's going to walk this walk because he's talking the talk, and bringing us change. And for our community to please spread the word, get to know about him. I always encourage people, if you want to know about a person, you can find out about a person today by just a click of a finger. Watch him. Talk to him. See what he's going to bring to the table. See if he's talking the talk that you want to hear. I always say this, Johnny, we have the power to hire and fire.
That's true.
Think about it. We've got the power to do that, and the power is in the stroke of that pencil. All you got to do, take the time to go vote. Ladies and gentlemen, let me encourage you again. We are in early voting up until the 15th, which is, I think, Saturday. I want to encourage you, make sure you go out and vote. We are talking about the primaries, which are very important. We have had a low turnout, but to hear Johnny already tell us that there are more requested mail-ins coming from the black community, that sounds good. I mean, not just the black community, but I mean from the Democrats. But to say that means a lot to me. But what I want to encourage you to do, drop it back in the mail. Don't request it and don't drop it back in the mail. Do what you got to do. Boop, send it back. Be counted. Be counted, ladies and gentlemen. Don't let that part bypass you. And for the younger people that are watching today, it matters that you vote. Your voice needs to be heard. We're not going to be here forever, this mature group, but we're going to be here for a while. But don't allow this to pass you by, to learn what it is as you see the fight that continues. Let it be a fight that you are a part of with a young man like Johnny. Johnny, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. It's been wonderful.
I appreciate you so much. And I mean, behind you, go out there, do what you have to do, and keep going, because I know you're going to be one of those people that's going to be that change that we're looking for.
You have my promise.
Oh, y'all heard that?
You all have my promise.
There you go. That's what I'm talking about. It's been a fantastic day. I love starting off a day like this with information that's power. I believe that knowledge is power. And once you receive the knowledge, you apply it, then you'll see the change. That's where you come in. If we put all of our resources together, I tell you all the time, there's nothing that we can't do. So keep that in mind. So I'll leave you today as I do every day. Never, ever, ever lose your focus. Always remember this. If you keep God first in whatever you do, I'll guarantee you you'll be a total success. So until tomorrow, for another day of sunshine, know that I love you with a perfect kind of love. Keep shining while I'm gone. Go out and vote. Go out and vote and shine while you do it. Check out Johnny. Stand with Johnny now. And you heard it from Sonshine right here on Sunshine's Corner.
Sunshine's Corner, being brought to you by Quint and Richie Studer.